When you hear the word India, you might think about curry or the colorful traditional clothing, maybe about the pantheon of Hindu deities, or maybe you're a weeb like me and don't remember that one arc in Suji. Indian culture respects women politics and believes in sharing financial decisions between spouses, but simultaneously expects women to stay at home and take care of the family. This discrepancy becomes more prominent the further we wander into the rural areas, where conservative views rule people's lives with an iron fist. Traditionally, it's common to give away daughters to their husbands, sometimes with a dowry, even though nowadays it's an illegal practice. Meanwhile, sons stay in the family house, bringing in their wives and continuing legacy. It's not like having a daughter is a bad thing, but rather not having a son is, or not having enough of them. Knowing all that, it's no surprise that, while illegal, selective abortions are still a thing in India. If a family thinks they have too many daughters already, and the ultrasonogram shows they are going to have another one, it's likely they will decide to terminate the pregnancy. You may wonder, why am I telling you all this unpleasant India facts? Well, truth be told, I have to fill this episode with something, and I couldn't find enough information in English to give you a nicely detailed, fleshed out case, so sorry. I couldn't find more than a few sentences on the case, not to mention the contradicting information on each side, which is weird considering it was just one copied and pasted paragraph. Therefore, don't trust everything I say in this episode. I am also confused. Rajasthan, India. It's the last week of June and new school year is starting. The students of Barmer are back from break, but not all of them. On the first day, the absence of 13-year-old Santosh is noticed during the roll call, and, while out of character for the bright student, it wasn't a cause of concern yet. They asked other members of the school faculty and discovered that none of the four siblings have been seen yet. And on Wednesday that week, the authorities in Barmer were notified of 6 bodies floating in the local water tank. Santosh had 4 sisters and no brothers. Chotan village is one of the rural places in India where, like I've mentioned, tradition seems more important to the locals than law. Girls are raised to be housewives, boys to provide for the family. Simply putting, sons are more desirable than daughters. Vanu Devi was age 42, or 52, or 38. My poor sources couldn't decide, but taking into consideration the old-fashioned beliefs, I think it's more likely she was on the younger side. She was a mother of 5 girls, but with each birth she felt more and more like a failure. She felt guilty for not having a son yet, even it was out of her control. Her husband wanted a son, her parents wanted grandsons, and the neighbors were whispering behind her back. And in June 2019, the social pressure finally broke her. Santosh was 13 years old. Mamta 11, Naina 9, Hamsa 7, and the youngest one, Hemlata, was only 3 years old when their mother pushed all of her daughters into a water tank before jumping in herself. They, of course, all drowned. And that's all I have, well, on this one at least. While googling this case, I stumbled to another one so identical, I almost wrote it off as being the same one. 2 years later, in Chhatarpur, a similar story took place. The authorities got a call from a group of people who went to the local well, reporting the discovery of 2 small bodies floating in the water. Sonam Kumari, aged 6, and her sister Pari, aged 5, were drowned by their mother Anita Devi. They had a little 3-year-old sister as well, but for some reason, she was spared. Soon after the youngest one was born, Anita and her husband Aryum Yadar got divorced. He left her to marry another woman, hoping she would give him the son he wanted. Meanwhile, Anita was left to raise the 3 kids alone, weighed by the shame of divorce and being unable to bear a son. The responsibilities and pressure overwhelmed her. When brought to court, she admitted to her crime. Eerily similar, right? It shouldn't be surprising considering India is the 2nd most populated country in the world, but I can't help but wonder how many more cases like that are hiding behind the wall of Indian language. We've only scratched the surface of what I am sure to be a vault of misogyny-driven accidents similar to these. Thank you for listening to me butchering Indian names. Tell your friends I have a podcast, tell your mom about me, and leave a 5-star review if you're concerned how easy it is to enter the water tanks by the general public. And your mama joke of the week is, your mama so poor, Nigerian princess wire hair money.